It's time for Battleathon Week 2. Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, I'm Bree, and it's time to read some good books, okay? We're doing another weekly vlog, and this time we are reading from authors that I have given 5 stars before. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'm participating in a Battleathon that is hosted by Mel from Eleanor Reads. I am co-hosting Team Wings with Cassidy over at Covers with Cassidy, and the whole purpose of the readathon is to read good books, right? You get more points for a 5-star book than you do a 2-star book, which means you gotta be a little strategic with what you're picking up. Last week I was reading books with our bonus words in the title to try to get us a little bit of extra points, and while I think that worked okay, I only ended up with 1 5-star read. We gotta beat that this week. We are relying on the old faithfuls, the authors that I have given 5 stars before, and we are going to be hoping that second, third time's a charm. Team Wings does have a little bit of ground to pick up. Mel announced the standings in her last week 1 vlog. We've got a little bit of space to catch up before the official rankings for the brackets end this week, which means we gotta read all of the things. I don't think I'm going to be using a spinner wheel this week. I did that for week 1 and it was fun, but I am fighting a slump. I don't think I'm slumping, I'm just not, like, the spinner wheel was not giving me what I wanted, and so I think this week we're just going to lean into the mood read, and the only stipulation is it has to be a book that I own because I do want to read my own physical TBR, and it has to be an author that I've given 5 stars before. I want to be able to kind of go to whatever genre. Obviously, like, I read a lot of fantasy romance, but I also read fantasy, I read horror, I read contemporary romance, and I've given 5 stars to books across multiple genres, so I kind of want to allow myself to mood read this week. So that is the plan. Now, today's book is not quite one that I get to pick, however, it's one that I'm really excited for, one that I've heard nothing but good things for. And for Not Your Mom's Boozy Book Club, which is the book club that I run with my friend Cal, we are reading Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle. I gave Camp Damascus 5 stars last year, which was also a Boozy Book Club pick, and I loved it. 5 stars. It was phenomenal. And I've heard that this one's even better. So that's what we're going to be reading. The potential is there for me to be able to finish this entire book today. I don't know how long we'll be on sprints, but I can at least probably finish it afterwards. Who knows? But this is about a man who is a screenwriter in Hollywood, and he has kind of been told that he has to, like, write off his gay, or kill off his gay character, I guess, and he doesn't want to do that. And then, like, some horrific things are happening, like monsters from previous shows are coming in and, like, haunting him, and it sounds terrifying. I love LA as, like, a set piece, as a backdrop, so I am very excited about this one. So we start sprints in about half an hour. I would really love to film this book haul before then, so I'm going to stop yapping here so I can go film that. Hello everybody, happy Monday. It's a new week, it's a new day. Here we are. I could have finished Bury Your Gaze last night. Yes, I absolutely could have. I think I'm about 72% of the way in. My audiobook says I have 1 hour and 10 minutes left. I could have finished it last night because we got off of sprints at, like, maybe 6 o'clock. But guess what? I didn't do that. I didn't do any reading after I got off of sprints. I still have to finish it today. I'm at work. I'll finish it up on my, like, you know, while I'm doing my things, my day job. I don't have a ton of meetings today, so I should be able to easily finish this. And then I don't know what I'm going to do after that. But let's chat about Bury Your Gaze, because I'm obsessed with this book. Okay? Like, this book is so good. I loved Camp Damascus. I gave it 5 stars. If you would have told me that Chuck Tingle would be the author that had thought-provoking, emotional, groundbreaking horror books 2-3 years ago, back when everyone was reading, what was it, the Harry Porber, the trans Harry Potter satire, when that was the book that was going around, if you would have told me back then that he would be writing queer, emotional, hard-hitting horror books, I would not have believed you. But here we are, we're about to go 2 for 2, and I really hope that this one gets the recognition that it deserves, because I feel like Camp Damascus was severely underhyped because nobody really believed that Chuck Tingle could do that, because he's been known for his, like, satirical, erotic like just jokes of a book kind of thing. Like, I mean, isn't he the one that has the coronavirus one? I could be not. That might not be him. But like, you know what I mean? Like, he has very ridiculous erotic smut. I don't even know what to classify it as. It's not romance, but you know, I don't know. Anyways, that's not the point. So when Captain Damascus came out, I feel like people didn't take it seriously, and they didn't see it for what it was. But it did so well, and it, like, you know, it has excellent reviews. And so I really hope that Bury Your Gaze gets the hype that Chuck Dingle deserves. Like, I want to see this on the Goodreads Choice Awards. Not that that's like the standard, but like it kind of is in terms of like popularity. Obviously, the Goodreads Choice Awards is a popularity contest, but I want to see Chuck Dingle on it. Okay? This book has so many interesting things. Like, the pacing is fantastic, okay? Just like on a simple skill level. It starts out kind of slow, and it kind of introduces our character and his boyfriend, and I was like, honestly, if I didn't know this was a horror, I would think that it would be a cute Hollywood queer romance, and that would be like great. And then obviously, like, then people start dying, and so then you're like, okay, yeah, no, we're back. But this is going through a lot of different things. Our character is basically seeing monsters that he has written in the past, all because he won't kill off his gay characters. He is standing up for the fact that he thinks that queer people need to be the happy part of a story. We need queer joy in media, and it's not like we can have, basically his producer is like, we can have these characters be gay, that's fine. We're not, you know, I'm not homophobic, but they have to die. Like, we have to make this emotional death because that's what will draw the audience in. And they're using like algorithms and logic and blah blah blah, and our writer is basically just being like, I'm tired of being the trauma. I'm tired of the queer person being the one that like draws the emotional heartstrings. I just want to see queer people survive and thrive. And so he's kind of putting his foot down, and then because of that, there are these like monsters that start showing up around him, and they're all based on characters that he has written in the past. And so then he's kind of like, well, I know what this character is supposed to do. I know the rules that he follows. So I have to I have to do X, Y, and Z so that we can defeat this monster. And it's such an interesting like way of doing it. It's terrifying. I mean, the book has so much tension in it. Because you know what is more scary than your own monsters following you around, which, by the way, is probably a metaphor for something, because, like, you know, the monsters in your head, that kind of thing. You know what is more terrifying than your own monsters following you around? Your own monsters following you around at 30,000 feet in the air in a plane. Like, talk about an isolated setting. Talk about you can't do anything because you're in a giant metal tube zipping across the sky, and you can't do anything about it. It's so terrifying. This book would have to go off the rails, completely bonkers, and do something astronomically horrible for this book not to get 5 stars. So glad we are starting off the week with a bang. But I've been talking for 6 minutes about this book, so I should move on. I don't know what I'm gonna do next. So I think I'm gonna start a Patreon poll. Because the problem is that when you decide you're not gonna do a spinner wheel and you're like, I'm gonna mood read, your brain goes, what are decisions? I don't know what those are. I have decision paralysis this morning. So I have like ideas. I have kind of like a book for each genre that I could read, right? If I wanted to go back to romantasy, I could do Curse of Broadbent, or I could do City of Mirth and Malice. However, I kind of want to make that my last book of August, because if I read that now, I'm afraid that nothing else will stand up to it, and so then nothing else will be 5 stars this month, and you can't have that for Battleathon. So I kind of think I want to make that my last book of August, just like end the month with a bang. And it'll work for the vlog. If I did romance, I could do the new Olivia Dade book that I got for Semi-Lit. I could do, I don't know. I have a couple. I could do the new Katie Robert book, the new Neon Gods book. If I did a thriller, I could do the new Riley Sager book or a John Mars book. And if I did horror, I could do Darcy Coates. I am feeling Darcy Coates. So that being said, I just gave you a ton of options. So that's where my brain is this morning. And that means that I'm gonna let my Patreons decide. So I'm gonna put up a poll on Patreon, not like the exact book, but I'm just gonna ask them which genre I should read. I think that's what I'm gonna do. And then we'll go from there. We'll let them make half the decision. Hello, it's Wednesday, so it's been a couple of days since I've talked to you, but I was working on another project. We had book club, and that book was definitely not a 5-star prediction, so I'm not putting that in this vlog. Didn't vlog for it, which is good because it was 2 stars. So sorry. It's Wednesday. I have a couple of things to talk to you about. I did finish Bury Your Gaze on Monday after I talked to you last. 5 stars. This was so good. I want to recommend this book to everybody because I feel like everybody would appreciate it. I feel like there's such an interesting commentary about queer baiting and like being queer in media, being queer behind the scenes in media, and also just like queer representation in like shows and movies and things like that, and the journey that we have been on from the beginning. Obviously, queer representation in media has come so far from like, you know, the 80s and 90s and things like that, but we're not anywhere close to where we need to be, obviously. My screensaver is bright pink, and so it's making me look very, very bright, like red. So anyways, 5 stars. So first book was a success, and then I did end up doing a poll on Patreon. It ended up being very, very close, but horror won, and so I decided to go ahead and pick up a Darcy book. Darcy's an author that I consistently give pretty high ratings to. I think the lowest book that I have given her was like 3.5 stars. Weirdly enough, Gallows Hill and Hunted are probably my least favorites of hers. Oh, you know what? Her new thriller is not my favorite either. I tend to like her horrors more than her thrillers, but I love the Voices in the Snow series, so I kind of wanted to continue that. Maybe we will finish it up later on in the month. I don't know. But I'm only about 50 pages in. I did not read nearly as much as I wanted to, literally in the past day and a half. I mean, I did finish an entire book for the Accidental Book Club, but for this vlog, have not read as much. So I think this is what we're gonna focus on tonight. This is like the first night in a while I'm not sprinting, and so it kind of feels nice to relax. So I might just play around on my iPad. I'm making bookmarks, like doing a bunch of bookmark designs. The goal eventually is to create a new tier for my Patreon, probably in 2025, that will get bookmarks because I love designing them. But I don't know what to do with that creativity, so if I create a Patreon tier, then at least my friends can have them. So anyways, that's the goal. So I might just do that tonight. Have a very nice quiet night, listen to my audiobook, make some bookmarks. I made one, I'll show you. This is like a very rough design. It's still very much a work in progress. But I'm obsessed with House of Bane and Blood, as you know. So I made bookmarks for them. So even if these don't become Patreon bookmarks, I'm gonna make some for like Etsy. They'll be foiled and everything. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. That's been a little bit of a passion project of mine for the past couple of weeks. But I feel a little bit lost with this one just because it's been so long since I have read the first 2. It was earlier in 2023 that I read them. But Darcy is doing a really good job kind of like catching you up and kind of reminding you what you need to know. It's obviously like we jump right back into the action, but the characters are kind of like having dialogue that's like, you know, last week, da 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 da, and you're like, oh yeah, right, that was in the book. So that's good. I'm excited to read this. This is gonna be my project for tonight. I don't think I'll finish it because I think it's like a 12-hour audiobook or something like that. But make a good dent into it. That's the plan for tonight. I don't really have anything else to talk to you about. I had like 2 different doctor's appointments today, which was just not fun. So I'm very tired and just a little bit worn out, and I just want a chill, relaxed night. Hello, happy Saturday. I feel like this vlog has been kind of boring, so sorry about that. But I have fun stuff planned for today. We're gonna go to a book signing, which is exciting. There is a local author that is gonna be at the Barnes & Noble, and I have been following her on Threads. Had never read from her before, but it's a queer pirate fantasy romance. Of course, that sounds like me. So we're gonna go. Plus I have like gift cards because I had a return, and then also it's my birthday tomorrow, so I have a couple of gift cards, and we're just gonna go to Barnes & Noble. Okay. But I have some updates for you. I finished Whispers in the Mist yesterday. I love this. I love the fact that like we are so entrenched into this book, into this series, that it just feels like coming home to these characters. Obviously these characters are like in a world of hurt right now. they're not doing well, but like I want to see this book on TV. I want to see this become the new Walking Dead. Please, because I can visualize it in my head, and I can't do that with every book. But Darcy has such a way of doing that, and a way of like connecting with your characters, and like she's just so good about making you want to love the characters and like make sure that they're okay. And obviously they're not, at least not right now. So I have one more book to read from this series. It will definitely get read sooner rather than later. I don't know if I'll get to it this month, but I do want to like finish it up quickly and have another series completed, which, you know, is always a problem over here in this house. So I gave it 4.5 stars, and I think that half star is probably my fault, because the beginning of it I was like trying to catch up with what was going on, because it's been so long since I've read this book. And then for Battleathon, because there are no half stars, my actual rating for this, if you like look at my spreadsheet, was a 4.6, so I'm rounding up. That's how I've always done it with half stars, is if it's a like 0.5 or 0.6, it gets rounded up, and then if it's 0.4, then it gets rounded down. I have a video on how I do my star ranking. It's a couple of years old at this point, but the system hasn't changed, so I'll link it up above if you're interested in how I do that. It is a couple of years old, so please do not judge the quality. My channel over here is much better these days. Speaking of finishing up series, it's Saturday, so it's the last day of the week. Obviously tomorrow we start week 3, so I do want to get one more book in. However, it's Saturday and I have a lot going on today. So I'm going to pick up Lore Olympus this morning. This is volume 6, the newest volume that came out a couple of months ago, and I haven't gotten to it yet. Really wanted to get to it during Amazing Readathon, and that just didn't happen. So we're gonna read this morning. I'm gonna go make breakfast, and then we will be off on our adventures for the day. So I'll talk to you later.
I can't fall asleep. I just lay in my bed wondering if there's anybody, or if I was born to be lonely. I've been trying, but I'm burned out from my feelings, setting fires, just hoping that you'll notice me. Oh, I'm sending out an SOS from the sinking in my soul. Oh, and I just need you to know I'm sending.
Hello friends, I just got back from Barnes & Noble. I didn't film very much in there, but you saw a couple of clips. I'm also like filming a Patreon exclusive vlog right now because it's my birthday weekend, and so like we're doing some fun things, and so you're getting like, there's more extended footage over there for my top tier patrons. But that being said, I did pick up a few books. I went to go see this author. This author, which who I'd been talking to on Threads, and it's like a queer fantasy pirate romance. But then also there was another author there, and this is R.R. Mangold, and this is a romance between a reaper and somebody at a hospital, because nobody's supposed to be able to see her, but this nurse can. So yeah, and then I got a couple of other ones. I got this was on sale, and it's pretty. And this was pretty. Like, look how gorgeous that is. But it's a like queer political like fantasy. I don't know. And then I needed another book for BOGO, so I got a Freedom McFadden book. So anyways, that's all I've got right now. I did read about a third of Lore Olympus this morning, so I have been making some progress, but not a ton. I would like to be able to finish it before we go to dinner tonight. We're going to the melting pot for my birthday. I feel like the Lore Olympus is starting to like pick up. We're starting to really see the politics between all of the gods, specifically between Hades and Zeus, while Hades is trying to protect Persephone from this issue that Zeus has with her. And like, I don't know, it's fast paced, it's moving quickly, and I feel like the last book was a little bit of a letdown. It very much felt like a filler book, but this one is really starting to pick up the pace, and I think I want to say the next one is the last one. Could be wrong there, so don't quote me, but it definitely feels like it's picking back up and really getting into the meat of the story. But then also the banter between Persephone and Hades is just adorable. So cute. But she's obviously dealing with a lot of like mental trauma and stuff like that. So that's like obviously coming into play here. And yeah, so I'm gonna go head back home. It is 2 o'clock now. So I'm gonna head home, and then tonight we are going to dinner. So I'll talk to you later. Hello. It's Monday and I'm just now closing out this vlog, but this weekend ended up being a lot busier than, well, I mean, I knew it was going to be busy, but I just didn't have time to like sit here and talk to you. But I did finish Lore Olympus Volume 6. I am going to be giving it 4 stars. I feel like this series is, I don't want to say dragging, but it kind of is. I feel like we're doing a lot of different things, and I know she's like trying to tie a lot of strings together to come to the conclusion, but I feel like my like enjoyment of this has kind of slipped a little bit since probably like Volume 4, I feel like. I know Volume 5 was like just a complete middle book and felt like a filler. And this one, while definitely like kind of got back on the plot, still felt like we were going too slow, right? I was finding that I wasn't like super invested in this the way that I had been with some of the earlier episodes or volumes. I still really enjoyed it. I still like, so don't get me wrong. I'm just like, I'm not finding, it's not like giving me 5-star feels. So we're going with 4 stars for it. So as far as this vlog, it was a little bit more boring than last week's. It was a little bit slower. I only got 3 books read, and that was one of them being a graphic novel, but they were all books that I really loved, really enjoyed. So that's good. But that is going to do it for me for this week. I need to start week 3's vlog because I'm already a day behind that. Let me know down in the comments below what your favorite book of the week was, and if you're not feeling chatty, do a sunshine emoji. That's all I have for you today. If you're new here and you have not yet subscribed, there's a little button that you can do so down below the video. If you'd like to hang out with more, the links to my Instagram, Goodreads, Twitter, and my Patreon are linked in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!
Told you this was temporary, didn't I? But you changed my mind like the weather.